Good evening, friends. We are here again at Asia Pacific Insights podcast. This is the second edition for this year. And for tonight, in Manila, we will talk about the recent bilateral security dialogue between the Philippines and the US. It is the 12th edition of the security dialogue between Manila and Washington, and there will be a forthcoming 2+2 meeting in Washington later this year. So to start our discussion, tonight we have here in Perth, Australia, Colonel Dencio Acop, former Army Intelligence Officer and graduate of the U.S. Military Academy. Welcome, Colonel. And in Washington, we have veteran journalist Rodney Haleco, who covered the defense beat with me during the 1990s. So welcome, Rodney. And good day in Washington.
Good morning. Medyo masaya.
Good morning and good evening. Good evening sa Pilipinas.
Yeah. So last Monday, the US and the Filipino Defense and Foreign Affairs official met in Manila for the 12th edition of the bilateral security dialogue, and there was a long list of discussion, but they focused more on defense and security. Number one, the U.S. promised to invest $144 million for the improvement of the 9 EDCA sites in the Philippines. They also promised $500 million foreign military sales under the 2026 National Defense Authorization Act, which was approved by Congress in December. Sorry. And finally, the U.S. announced that they will deploy cutting-edge missiles in the Philippines to improve the deterrence capability of the Philippines and counter the anti-area and area denial strategy of China. So, from your end, Colonel Acop, what can you say about this meeting in Manila?
Mukhang if everything that we heard from the just concluded bilateral strategic dialogue between the Philippines and the United States is to be believed, no? It covers a lot actually. Kung binasa ko yung joint statement coming from, of course, the two sides, but it was issued by the American side. It's very comprehensive. In fact, I think if you're tayo, mga Pilipino na was experienced a lot of the bullying and harassment from our big neighbor in the West Philippine Sea, mukhang it's very welcome yung mga ipinapangako ng ating partner na United States, especially since we really do have a 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with them, and we have a long history of friendship. So, very, mukhang very encouraging. Of course, the details are not in there, but I think the most critical is yung nabanggit nga na the result of this partnership, given the developments recently in the South China Sea and West Philippine Sea, are going to be intensified. So in real terms, alam natin na meron ng 11 EDCA or 9 EDCA sites in the Philippines, right? But actually, pwede mo sabing 11 yun eh. Kasi if you include Subic and Clark, that's a total of probably 11 locations in the Philippines where U.S. forces are expected to be or are already there. So in concrete terms, even, I think meron ng mga nabanggit naman eh na there are already deployments of equipment like even missiles na na ibinigay sa atin ng ating alliance partner during exercise Balikatan, which is an ongoing annual exercise between the Philippines and the United States, di ba? Tapos there are also unmanned drones. In fact, some may think na bago lang yung drones na yan, but if we look back, I think drones have been deployed already in Mindanao as early as 2023 kasi nag-overflight nga daw yung drone sa sa Second Thomas Shoal during that period. And of course there are planned there have already been and planned 500 plus activities between Philippine and US forces from 2023 to 2026. So nag-intensify and there have been a lot of developments just these last few months beginning from September. And then especially pagpasok ng 2026, maraming na tayo napansin na. In fact, there are already also some unconfirmed reports that military forces, U.S. military forces are already deployed to the Philippines, composed of Marine contingent and Army contingents. They call it a new military organization, but syempre, it's not really new. There's a name to it. It's their rotational force, and they're already arriving in waves. So there are more to come. These are the developments that we are seeing.
Okay. Thank you, Colonel. So, Rodney, at your end in Washington,
Yeah.
how do you read this development?
Yung sa akin, we have to see what the Chinese have already heard that the US will be deploying this new modern weapons, and we can their reaction can be a gauge of how worried they are, no? How seriously they see this development. Kasi Manny, the US nagkataon na they have a program of aggressively deploying their new missiles this year, no? 2026. So yung ang binabantayan ng mga Chinese, I think, is whether some of those new cutting-edge missiles will end up in the Philippines, no? Because there are now deployable precision, no? High precision weapons, mga hypersonic cruise missiles, and new anti-radiation. Ito yung mga tinitira yung mga radars eh. So I think that is the reason, partly for me, that is the reason why the Chinese are quiet, no? They are worried that some of these new weapons might end up somewhere in northern Luzon, no? And you know, the Typhoon and the HIMARS, no? They have munitions like the Tomahawk that can already reach the Chinese coastline, no? Yung mainland China. So the deployment of newer, more sophisticated missile systems in the Philippines might be a game changer, no? It might increase the the anxieties in Beijing. And Venezuela, no, what the US did in Venezuela has already shown, especially to the Chinese, that the US has very unique strike capabilities na I don't think China has the ability to repel. No? I think they saw that in Venezuela. So with the reported, no, rumored deployment of this this is our state-of-the-art missile systems. I think na-amplify na yung na-amplify na yung realization ng China that they really have a fight on their hands, no? If they decide to push through with their Xi Jinping decides to push through with his plans, with this agenda on Taiwan, then he must know by now that he will have a real fight, no? Although we don't also know what the Chinese have right now, kasi siyempre lahat yan mga top secret technology. But yung reaction ng China so far suggests that they are accepting na they may have an inferior position vis-a-vis what the US has now, no? In terms of military missile technology.
Before discussing yung Venezuela as a show of force by the US, let's go back to the US announcement that they will deploy more cutting-edge missiles in the Philippines. Although there are no specifics, no numbers, hindi natin alam kung anong klaseng missile, but there is talk that the US will deploy Tomahawk and some SM-6 missiles in the Philippines because there is already a platform that can deliver this missile, no? Yung Typhoon, no? Yung Typhoon was deployed in the Philippines in April of 2024 by the first multi-domain task force based in Washington State, no? But also in the Philippines, there is another multi-domain task force. The third multi-domain task force based in Hawaii is also training with the Philippine Army in April during the Salaknib exercises, no? It's a back-to-back exercise with the Balikatan, no? So the U.S. Army is also bringing in HIMARS, the high mobility rocket artillery system, no? And they also had this the U.S. Marines also are deploying the Nemesis, no? The Navy Marine Expeditionary Ship Interdiction System, and the MADIS, the Marine Air Defense Integrated System. So we have a lot of sophisticated weapons now in the Philippines, and we don't know the numbers, and we don't know the location, and these are very agile and mobile equipment that probably would make China nervous because they don't know where these equipments are located, no? So, Colonel, what do you think? What can you make up about these preparations by the U.S.? Is it for something bigger in the next 2 years, or it is just for deterrence of the Philippines?
Well, the US calls it, siyempre, deterrence in the Indo-Pacific region because of the aggression by China, and of course, it's a very diplomatic term, no, which really applies well, short of violence, no. Pero yeah, kung bigyan pa natin ng konting detalye yung pinag-uusapan natin, especially with the specific military capabilities. If you ask me, mukha namang I have no reason to doubt the credibility of the U.S. intent in this regard, because unang-una, the U.S. is aware that if they deploy non-high-end capabilities in the Indo-Pacific, Asia-Pacific region, especially in the Philippines, because that is where the eyes of China now are, alam din ng US na China knows that. And syempre, di ba? And of course, deterrence will not be served if the focus or the target of the deterrence, intelligence-wise alone, knows that the US intent is not credible. So I'm pretty sure the capabilities that are being deployed by the US in terms of equipment, in terms of military capability, troops, are credible. I have no reason to doubt that. In fact, like we have been saying, through the 9 EDCA sites, and more are being added as we speak, I think. For example, the Nemesis is 180 kilometers ang radius nito ang kanyang range. The Typhoon is 450 kilometers. The HIMARS is 500 kilometers. So if these are launched from Lalo in Cagayan or Basco or any part of Batanes, it probably covers the whole of the Taiwan Strait and Taiwan itself in terms of the areas where a possible invasion could occur, whether it's coming from in every direction, whether coming from the north, from the west, or from even the south. South meaning baka gamitin ng China, for instance, yung kanilang troops sa Spratlys. So yung range na yan, and if there are more high-end equipment coming in, edi pero itong nakadeploy na to me they're already credible capabilities, Okay, not only that, there are also reports that there are already 3 layers of US deployment in the Philippines in terms of troops. First, Task Force Philippines, deployed in October 2025. 60 troops, led by a 2-star Marine General. Second layer, Marine Rotational Force, Southeast Asia, already operating from Manila. And third layer is Army Rotational Force Philippines, deployed this month. And just looking at my notes here. And it's led by a sabi ng mga ibang observers, it's been done quietly, and most Filipinos do not know it. But it's an Army Rotational Force Philippines deployed February 2, led by a Lieutenant Colonel with a liaison officer assigned to the new Task Force Philippines. So these are happening as we speak. So siyempre, and then based on the joint statement, there are more coming in, di ba, in terms of equipment. And siyempre nakalagay, they cannot, I can also understand why details will not be provided, of course, because this is an ongoing situation. But I think it's being operationalized, and so far the developments that we have seen, especially even with the statement of the bilateral dialogue is, if we look at the international rule of law, mukhang so far so good for both the Philippines and the United States, I think, and even for the other allies like Japan, which is also being greatly involved now, and Australia, because they are within the rule of law, di ba?
Balikan yung 3 layers.
Yeah, yung 3 layers. Yun nga, yung first nga daw, yung there's already yung Task Force Philippines, which was established October 2025, composed of 60 troops led by a 2-star Marine General. And then second layer is the Marine Rotational Force, Southeast Asia, which is already operating from Manila. And then most recently, the Army Rotational Force, Philippines, deployed February 2026. Its scope, reportedly the scope is still relatively unknown, but it's already there. So led by a Lieutenant Colonel with a liaison officer assigned to the new Task Force Philippines. So yun, there are now ang kailangan bantayan natin siguro is whether the Army Rotational Force Philippines gets combat capabilities or just stays coordination only. So siguro may face din yan di ba? So to my mind, logically, sa umpisa it's like that, but siguro that also means na yung equipment nila is still on the way. Siyempre may mga logistics preparations, it takes a little bit of consolidation and time. Also, secondly, the Philippines' third BrahMos missile battery arriving early, if it arrives early this year, will complete a supersonic anti-ship shield, according to our source. So, makikita natin na there is a escalation of what was already sent ahead of time, and it's being followed by further equipment in order to siguro complete the capability or extend the capability. So, mukhang may nakikita naman tayong ganon. And of course, we have to also try to monitor how Beijing responds, and expectedly nga we might expect diplomatic protests and more South China Sea pressure. Although yun nga, it's also in question now, as has been mentioned by Rodney earlier. Or ikaw yata, Manny, yung medyo I'm not sure if it's really becoming muted, but logically, syempre, the United States is getting more and more into the picture. Dati Philippines lang, and so there was a lot of bullying talaga. But now, yung lahat na nangyari na yan, it has now given the rationale or impetus for the Philippines to justify its protection of the Philippines, and the Philippines sees it as a welcome move. And maganda rito is that collective security also is at play, because the same security concern is also being voiced by Japan, which sees an invasion of Taiwan as also a possible involvement of Japan, just like the Philippines, diba? So there's collective security, I think, that is intensifying between the alliance of the United States and the Philippines, and also with Japan and Australia. Australia also, kasi very concerned din ng Australia So yun yung giving meat to what we're seeing. And like I said, I think in terms of legal and moral ascendancy, I think it's right now it's on the side of the alliance, I think. Kasi yung the thing that gave rise to all of this is the the unilateral claim by a regional power like China that the South China Sea is its territory, preventing free passage and navigation by all other countries. So medyo mahirap i-depensa yan eh. Before, now, and in the future, I think. Kahit na ano pang... so, I think right now, things are looking more and more in favor of the alliance. And sabi nga nila, yung Pilipinas daw, it's becoming more and more the most important partner of the United States in the Indo-Pacific region because of this. So, so far sa mga development na nakikita natin, mukha namang doon nga papunta. So, it remains to be seen if ang kulang na lang giving reality to everything that's been mentioned in the joint statement, which is a lot. Kasi it's expanded strategic talaga siya, hindi lang ito but all other areas as well, economic, including narcotics, including Philippine health, ang dami, including nuclear pa nga including sending Filipinos to train or sending experts to come to the Philippines to make sure that Philippine nuclear standards are according to the highest standards. So what does that mean? Di ba? Parang kumisan, makapag-isip tayo If you relate it to health also, it almost sounds like it's already preparing the Filipino people for what's to come. Di ba? Kind of. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking ahead.
Yeah. So thank you, Colonel.
Dami
So, Colonel, thank you. Rodney, do you share Colonel Acop's views on this? Because you mentioned earlier that the U.S. has demonstrated its power when it attacked Venezuela, no? Yung power nung electronic and cybersecurity was demonstrated, no? Kasi na-disable yung internet at power grid ng Venezuela. So, do you think that this kind of capability, yung electronic warfare and cyber warfare, will also be included in the Philippines?
Yeah. The US operation in Venezuela, I think is still being studied, no? The armies around the world, including China, I don't think they have already finished their examination, their post-mortem of what the US did there, no? So only then can they really see kung meron mga gaps sa capabilities nila, no? Compared to what the US has now. Yung Venezuela naman, yung operation na yun, that's not something na out of the blue lang na ginawa ng US. Those tactics, yung ginamit nilang tactics doon, they've been rehearsing that for years. yung pag-shutdown ng internet, yung pag-shutdown ng power plants, those are non-kinetic combat activities na the US has already mastered, no? And they show that in Venezuela. Ano nila yan, kahit na nakapikit mata ng US forces, kaya nilang gawin yan. Talagang pipilayin ka muna nila bago pumasok yung tropa nila. Because you have to remember, no, there is nothing more precious in the US Armed Forces than the men, no, the lives of the men and women in their service, in yung sa military nila. So they will take every action to make sure na they minimize their casualties. And that's, I think, yung may relative yung pag-capture ba o pagdukot kay Maduro. That's something na I'm sure the Chinese are looking at, no? May ano yan may DNA yan how to do that, no? And not only the Chinese but I guess the rest of the world, no, is studying yung mga techniques to do that. Pero Manny, yung ano sa akin kasi all this is performative. Alam mo, when you look at the US policy now, no, policy making now, you have to go back to the man on top, no, si President Trump, no. And he is basically a performer. He demands performance from everybody, no, and in his administration. So, yung US operation in Venezuela was partly an exercise in performance. No? You have to make a big show. You have to make a big show to show your power. Yan ang parang basic premise of the US military strategy now. So now they're gearing up in the Persian Gulf. No? Iran naman ang mukhang binubuli ngayon ni President Trump. And I think what the US is doing in the Philippines, by announcing all this deployment of secret, no, unknown, no, undetermined cutting-edge missile weapons, is also part of that overall team ng Trump administration. May show palabas. They want to show China that they have the capability to stop anything that China might be is going to do, no? Yung pinaplano nila. And it could also be part of the impending meeting between President Trump and Xi Jinping, no? Sa Beijing sa spring, no? In April. Lalo na ngayon na scrap yung tariffs ni Trump, no? Although the Supreme Court has essentially rejected his a pillar of his economic let's say economic weapon against China, no? Because everybody knows what he's doing with tariffs with China. But now this announcement that the US will be bolstering its missile forces in the Philippines could be part of this larger chess game, no? Alam mo, Manny, malungkot man sabihin, but Philippines is just a pawn, Pawn lang sa big superpower rivalries between the US and China. And it's incumbent, I think, for the Philippines to accept this, no? That we are just flowing with the whatever China and US is doing, no? Sumasakay lang tayo sa agos ng dalawang superpowers na yan. And I think it's incumbent upon the Marcos administration to promote our own interests, no? Since we are already caught up in this superpower rivalry, how do we take advantage of it? And more importantly, how do we protect the Filipino people? No? I mean, for example, are there bomb shelters in the Philippines? Kahit naman nandun sa Northern Luzon? Kasi
wala.
Let's face it, no? Talagang there is a very big it's a growing temptation for China to engulf the Philippines kung if ever they have because they already know that if they move against Taiwan, they'll be moving against the US. And if they move against the US, they will have to move against the Philippines, no? Sana Malacanang will also take certain steps, no? Na since it may be coming, wag naman sana ningas kogo na kung kailan nandyan saka tayo magpe-prepare for that exigency, no? So sa akin, strengthen strengthen the civil defense aspects of this. Kasi the Americans are already taking care of the deterrent portion eh. Sila na nag-invest ng kung ilang billion no, to upgrade EDCA, and the reason they're doing that is because they'll be using those for possible military operations, military strikes, no. And
Okay.
naiiwan sa atin sa Philippines yung responsibility na to take care of our own, no? To take care of ourselves. So yun.
Yeah. So thank you, Rodney, no? Kasi actually the Donald Trump show started last year, no? When if you remember, several BP-2 bombers, no, flew from mainland US to Iran. Layo niyan, di ba? And they were able to knock down nuclear sites in Iran without any resistance from the Iranian forces. And going back to Colonel Akop's views earlier, he said that the U.S. Army may bring in some new equipments to the Philippines. In fact, last year, the third multi-domain task force, no, which is formally institutionalized this year, already brought in some high altitude balloons, no, for monitoring the West Philippine Sea. And they also had this ultra high endurance unmanned aircraft system, no. Drones to na tumatagal ang loiter diyan sa West Philippine Sea ng parang eroplano, no, mas matagal pa, no. So these are the new equipment that are being brought to the Philippines na hindi man lang na-announce, no. Of course, these are all included in the Pacific Pathways program of the U.S. Army. The Philippines is part of under SALACNIB. And speaking of the new Army deployment, there is a rotational force, no, from the multi-domain task force that will be involved in information warfare, no. This is the group that will counter or disrupt China's foreign malign information operations, no? Especially if you are looking at social media platforms in the Philippines, para ang daming post, no, ang daming account na saying that pro-China and pro-Sara, and this may influence the elections in 2028, no. So I hope that the US will integrate yung information warfare, cyber warfare into their conventional battle space of air, land, water, and sea, no, and space, no. So very exciting yung nangyayari, Colonel, because of these developments, no. But you made mention about the EDCA sites in Northern Luzon, and the U.S. already also announced a $144 million investment, no. Colonel, what do you think? Where do you think the U.S. will spend this money to develop infrastructure and facilities in the EDCA sites? Anong klaseng mga infrastructure ang kailangan nating i-prepare, no, for an emergency in the near future?
Yeah, well, as far as that particular bit is concerned, yung 144 million, nakalagay naman dun na they will improve the infrastructure existing in the EDCA sites. So that could, without going into specifics, but we could probably surmise that that money will go into further developing the sites so that these are able to accommodate incoming equipment and expansion of military capability that will be pouring into these sites in support of the defense, the security support that the U.S. will be giving the Philippines, especially relative to a potential or a contingency of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Yun yung dalawa yung main reason na palaging sinasite ng di ba, ng Amerika in doing what it is doing in the Philippines particularly, but in the region also as well. Yun nga yung aggression by China in the South China Sea, as well as its possible invasion of Taiwan. So yun yung dalawang na yan, sila yung malaking justification for everything that is happening. Now I wanted to point out na definitely China is I think panicking in a way, no, in terms of the intensification of American capability in and through the Philippines, because syempre nabanggit nga kanina na yung ginawa ng US sa Venezuela and Iran, ano lang yan parang marketing lang yun kumbaga di ba? It demonstrated its capability that with the current leader of the United States, it is unlike all previous leaders before him. So syempre yung China inisol dekado to hindi to nakukuha sa sa dialogue or reasoning. So and it's already demonstrated its capability. So there is no question about it. Now, the problem in the region is that the United States is not dealing, and vice versa, China is not dealing with the Philippines anymore. It's dealing with a nuclear power. So, in short, sa madaling salita, if we advance our analysis into this, yung mga intensification of capability in the region and through the Philippines, we can expect na there will be tactical nuclear warheads that will be coming in. And what can China do about it? It cannot do anything about it. Why? Because it's already demonstrated that it does not believe in the international rule of law. Nakatsempo siya ngayon ng katapat na Trump, for instance, right? And China and America is of course the biggest nuclear power, arguably with Russia, diba? So and now the world is also shifting to realist international relations, away from ideal international relations. So kumbaga sa kwan, might is right na ngayon di ba? Hindi na yung mutual dialogue. But of course both is being used. Countries are wily enough now to cite international rule of law in dialogues when it favors their national interest. But if not, then they're silent about it. But they do it anyway because there's nothing that anyone can do. Di ba? I mean, there's even international police or even the United Nations does not have any police power. Only countries have that. So yun ang sitwasyon ngayon So now, relative to this, kasi even if you look at the joint statement, it says there, one of the foreseen capabilities as a result of the just concluded bilateral strategic dialogue is the strengthening of civil nuclear cooperation, work with off-takers, utilities, data centers. To me, this is welcome because, di ba, in previous podcast, I pointed out, for instance, yung pagpasok ng China sa data centers. But now, at least, we have now the US that will be also countering this together with the Philippines. So I think this is a welcome development in terms of counterintelligence. To connect leading US nuclear technology companies with Philippine private sector. meron silang Fulbright program. This has been an ongoing program between the Philippines and the United States in terms of proliferating nuclear scientists and experts. The West Pointer ahead of me is a graduate of that money. Si Chris Acosta, 82. He's
Sige.
he's a Fulbrighter, MIT. So they can tap him if they want to. Another one also is that they will be sending experts to the Philippines to develop nuclear-focused curricula, credentialing programs, building local capacity to construct and operate state-of-the-art nuclear reactors. So dito pa lang makikita na natin yung hindi naman nila tinatago, it's in the joint statement eh. Di ba? Yung this entry of nuclear reality using the current situation as a justification, di ba? And now it involves the Philippines too, not just United States. So hindi natin masabi na unilateral initiative lang ng Amerika. Hindi. Nag-sign up ang Pilipinas dito. So legal to, kumbaga. Okay.
Meron tayong 1, 2, 3 agreement with the US.
Yeah. Okay, now, given this, I foresee na with this development, siguro pwedeng mabawasan yung pambubuli ng China sa atin sa West Philippine Sea, I think. Because now they are shifting, and I just read an article about this, in-announce ng Philippine Embassy and the DFA na they are now expecting a full-blown cyber warfare against the Philippines. So they might be shifting yung bullying sa South China Sea into cyber security, spreading of false narratives. They will try to just disrupt everything, and I think it leads to the political elections in 2028. So yung sinabi mo na yung if for example, assuming lang Sara Duterte is able to regain power, then siguro China is back in di ba? Back in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So they're probably it is not far-fetched to think na plano ng China yan. That is their legal way, okay? Mahilig sila sa sa mga false narratives and distorting or deceptive narratives. But now if they have a leader like who is siyempre yun yung kanilang counter sa di ba, sa international rule of law ng Amerika, ng Philippines, ganyan. So I would expect na there will be but even the joint statement addresses this also. Kaya maganda nga yung comprehensive siya eh. Nakalagay doon sa joint statement, deepen diplomatic and law enforcement cooperation and combat cybercrime, online scam centers and production and trafficking of illicit. Nandun yung cybersecurity. So I think it covers that, which is good. Sabi niya, support modernize Philippines civilian and military cybersecurity. So I think broad yun eh. But if we read into it, and it's good because in fact I'm hoping na baka matulungan hopefully ng Amerika ang Pilipinas. Di ba ganda yun, di ba? Especially for the run-up into the 2028 elections, because we cannot afford to have another repeat of, di ba, of non-credible democratic elections. So I think that in itself is a battleground, the elections. So and I think siyempre the US knows that. The US knows that, di ba? Depende rin yun. If the elections are important to the Philippines, I think it's also very important to the United States, because if a non-friendly will mawawala itong mga initiative ng Amerika na ito sa Philippines and in the region. So I think na there might be a lessening of physical bullying siguro, but there will be a lot more in terms of cyber warfare launched against the Philippines, if not the United States, but the Philippines, and trying to
Hindi lang sexy, Colonel, yung cybersecurity. Mas gusto natin missiles eh. pero actually yung
Kasi lahat
Alam mo,
konektado eh. So,
Manny,
everything is connected for cybersecurity and social media
Media
warfare
platforms.
to be effective.
Oh.
Kailangan meron ka ring ibubuga in terms of actual military capability. You will also not be taken seriously if the enemy knows that you do not have that, di ba? That's why siguro hindi siniseryoso ng China ang Pilipinas, pero siniseryoso niya siyempre ang Amerika dahil merong sariling kapabilidad din yung Amerika eh.
Actually,
alam mo, yung pinag-uusapan niya yung data center, no? Kaya natatawa ako nung na balita ni Colonel na meron na palang data center diyan sa Metro Manila area yata yun, no? Somewhere there, no? In the
Sa Pasig.
Pasig, oh. You know, about 10 minutes away from where I am is Ashburn, no? Yan ang center ng data center dito. Manny, yung data center, hundreds of acres yan. Alam mo, ang dalawang kailangan ng data center, open land, tsaka kuryente. Kaya natatawa ako na may nagtayo dyan ng data center sa Metro Manila. Kasi ang liit. Bakit siya pumaglagay doon eh? Yun nga, alam mo yung mga, I don't know if you've seen a data center, Manny. Pero kami, we drive through it, medyo controversial yan dito kasi sila nagpapataas ng rate ng kuryente. Kasi atako sa kuryente yan, Manny. Umihigop ng kuryente yan eh. So, tsaka nagdadrive ka, mga 5 minutes ka na nagdadrive, data center pa rin yun. Ganun ka sa highway, nagdadrive ka ng ganun. Wala kang matatanong kung yung data center, panay mga 1-story, 2 stories building yan eh. Malalaman naman, parang bunker kasi yan eh.
Correct.
Yun lang, observation ko lang na kung tataka ako kung bakit may Chinese-owned na data center sa Metro Manila na hindi yan ang hindi yan ang ideal location ng data center.
Actually, Rodney, yung data center sa Pilipinas, para mga packets lang, kasi nung nasa Reuters pa ako, we have our own data center sa Makati, no? Pero for lang yun, for Reuters services lang yun, maliit lang yun.
Servers lang yun, Manny. Servers lang yun.
Servers. Pero last question, no? Gentlemen, kasi the US has been focusing on the Philippines recently. Sa tingin nyo ba, because the Philippines is the weakest link dun sa first island chain ng US, no? From Japan, Korea, Taiwan, down to Australia. The Philippines is the weakest, no? In terms of capabilities, in terms of the military and other capability, mahinang-mahina ang Pilipinas. Kaya, do you think that's why the US is focusing on the Philippines right now? So, let's start with Rodney.
Yeah. Sa akin kasi, Manny, yung Philippines, although it's the weakest no? The weakest link doon sa first island chain. Pero ang weakness ng Philippines is its siguro perceived, no? Ability to withstand the first strike. Kasi the US is already prepositioning yung mga equipment eh. So they don't have the actual forces yet, no? Sa Philippines. They plan to inject the manpower and additional requirements for prosecuting war, no? Pero they need time, money. So the Philippines, yung AFP natin, must be able to withstand the first strike and survive long enough for the Americans to get in, no? To fully mobilize their capabilities na already kumbaga naka-reserve na, naka-standby na dyan sa Philippines. All they need is the people na gagamit ng mga equipment na yun. No? So, yung I think it's a matter of addressing yung basic weakness na yan, no? Na the Philippines the AFP in particular should be able to survive a first strike and fight long enough to allow the Americans to get in. And I guess the other allies, no, like Australia is also, I think, prepositioning yung mga gamit nila dyan sa Philippines. So there are allies that are ready to aid the Philippines. Pero kailan Pilipino muna. Sila muna, tayo na muna ang unang lalaban dyan. And I think it's a matter of building that capability to survive the first strike and fight long enough for the allies to get in. I think that's the
Okay.
weakness of the
So Colonel Nakop, what's your take?
Yeah, well, while the Philippines may be the weakest in the first island chain, but it is really to my assessment, is the most important right now in the first island chain because of its geopolitical location, which is needed for which is needed for not only for regional security dialogue, but also in case of actual war, it is its location, its value as a military enabler. That's why it's also targeted. Is yung location lang niya is right smack in the middle between the Pacific and the South China Sea. So if you look at the world map, yung makita mo kaagad doon and now if we're talking of a possible Taiwan invasion, definitely the Philippines is needed by a regional power or superpower like the United States if it is to support Taiwan from in the region, kasi yung Philippines affords the best possible location for the US to preposition and launch its attack or counterattack in case of a Taiwan invasion. There is no other. Mas maganda yung lokasyon ng Pilipinas kung ikumpara mo sa other members of the first island chain like Japan. It's way up there in the northeast corner. South Korea, ganun din.